Well, hello there. Welcome to um, this session here. We're going to talk about our week 17 supplement for Algebra 1. Okay, I guess I didn't write that here, but it's Algebra 1. Okay, and we're talking about factoring quadratic trinomials. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit last week, and we talked about it for simple, I guess more simple trinomials. So like we said, we had something like x squared plus 5x plus 6. So both of these terms were positive, right? So I'm going to say both the terms, right, and say that term, that term. Obviously, the first one is positive as well, okay? And then we said, well, let's set up a chart for this, right? And we said, well, what multiplies to that last term, right? A times C, so this is A times C, right? So we say, okay, well, the A term is a 1, so it's 1 times 6, that's 6 multiplies to 6, and it adds to whatever B is, right? And B is this term right here, right? That's B. This is C, right? It just represents that, and then this over here is A, okay? And that was 5, obviously, okay? And then we just picked our numbers and said, well, what multiplies to 6, but also adds to 5? Okay, well, that's just 3 and 2, right, for both of these, right? And that works for that guy, too. And then we just said we can write that as x plus 3, x plus 2. Because if we multiply it back out, we'll get the exact same thing that we have up here, right? Because we multiply this out, right? And we say multiply those two, then multiply that one, then add that one, add that one. So we end up having the same thing, right? We end up having x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. And then we'd have the same original result. Okay, now this week we're going to work with some negatives. Some negatives are a little bit harder because you have to pay attention to the signs, but they're not, much different in a lot of ways. So you have a couple of examples in front of you on your sheet there. Let's go off the script a little bit and let's go and just pick a couple other ones. So let's say we have x squared. Let's say we end up having, let's see here, minus 7x. This is going to be similar to the one that is written there, okay, but minus 7x. And then we have plus 10, okay? So it's almost the same as the one that's written there, okay? But we go ahead and say, okay, well, now we got to set up our chart and say, okay, well, now we have our multiplies to, multiplies to, that would be 10, right? And it adds to, right? Adds to minus 7, okay? I'm going to use different colors for this, right? So what multiplies to 10? Well, only really two things, right? I can multiply to 10 by using 1 and 10, right? 1 and 10, right? Can any combination there lead to minus 7? No, right? So that's not going to work. And then if I have 5 and 2, that gets me to 10. Any combination here that you get me to minus 7? Well, let's think about that. If I have a negative here, right? I have a negative there. That means I have to have a negative, or at least one negative here. But if I have a negative for both of these, that's going to give me my positive, right? So since this last term is positive, I know that both of my terms have to be negative. Otherwise, I won't get a positive there, right? If I just picked minus 5 and positive 2, I'd get minus 10. So I know that's going to work. And if I did minus 5, minus 2, I'm going to get minus 7. So for this one, then, I could say x minus 5, x minus 2 is going to work, right? And then same thing for all of the ones that you're working out over there, right? You can go ahead and multiply this back out just to make sure that it's going to end in your final result there, right? Go through the list and think of all your factors of this multiply to number, right? Because if you run out of possibilities, right? Because this one didn't work right here. just keep going through there, and then multiply this out. So if I multiply this out, right, my arrows just to show what I'm doing, then I get x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 10, and that's going to give me my final result, which is x squared minus 7x plus 10. And there we go. I think that pretty much covers it. You can see that there's a couple other examples that they show there, and they list all of the factors basically that you could end up with to get to your results there. Example 1 and 2 there. So just be paying careful attention there, and let me know if you have any questions as you go through that. So that's it for our week 17 supplement.